Well, here with me today, I have Mr. Girish Tanti to talk about, his insights on renewable energy. So much is being talked about RE on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum here in Davos, Switzerland, and of course, India's role in climate action and Suzlon's future. Mr. Tanti, pleasure to have you today on ET Now. Thank you so much for your time. And let's talk about, where is it that we stand currently when it comes to renewable energy? Where is it that you see the future? Because as per our understanding, right now, India is only tapping 4% of its wind capacity.
That's true. So I think, firstly, let me tell you that as a country, we've set out a very bold goal. I think kudos to our Prime Minister for being so articulate and driven to make it happen. So I think there are fewer countries with such ambitious goals to get the green transition done. Within that, I think we've set a first review period by 2030. That's where we want to achieve two objectives. One is that 50% of our energy generation should come from renewable energy. And second is that, we want to achieve 500 gigawatts of renewable energy capacity. I think we are almost on the first one. We are about 5 years already ahead of time. We have achieved it. So today also, from a installed capacity, almost 50% is coming from green energy. So that's a good news. And I think with the installations we have done, both for wind and solar, if you look at solar, with the capacity installed, close to about 130 gigawatts and close to about 80 gigawatts under implementation and bidding, we have a visibility about 230 odd of gigawatts already, with a target of 300 by 2030. Same for wind. If we see, we have installed about 54 gigawatts, and with about 35 gigawatts of project under implementation and bidding, we have a visibility of about 85 gigawatts. So both for wind and solar, our first review period target of 2030 seems to be largely on track.
But tell me, since we are here at Davos and this is a melting pot of, pretty much representatives from all over the world, what can India learn about the green energy from the developed world?
Yeah, so I think basically I would say that first of all, the kind of work that has happened in India, especially on the hybrid projects and FDRE, meaning using wind, solar, storage together and giving 24/7 clean energy power. I think India is amongst the leader in this. So first of all, we always don't need to look westward, but I think
or Far East.
Yeah, or Far East also. So I think in this space, at least in the clean tech space, we can proudly say as India that we are in a significant better position than many parts of the world. So I think that's a good news on that. At the same time, there is always opportunities to learn from across the world. So I think, things like on product innovation, looking at ahead of the time, creating our own IPs, building, next generation stuff ahead of the curve. Also, I think there is an opportunity to, today we are in a very unique position that the world is looking in the multipolar world that has become, it's looking for new partners. And I think India fits in so beautifully well because of its characteristics and the culture that we have, that it's a right combination that many of the partners across the world would want to have. We have a great market, we have young people, there's huge amount of opportunity, English-speaking population, and I think there's a very nice culmination of so many, and young talent, youngest population in the world that we have. So I think all of that is to our advantage. We need to pick up few critical industries and sectors where we believe we can really be the value chain for the world. So today, clean tech if we pick up, then I think within that wind is one such industries where, as for the latest reports from Global Wind Energy Council, we have a capability of almost meeting 10% of the global manufacturing requirement of wind of the world. So we need to become an export-driven country. I think there is a need to pick up our bets. That these are the 5-6 sectors we'll pick up, and we have to be dadas in that. We have to kind of win the world in that and really be extremely good. And that's something we can pick up. And I think there's a lot of collaboration, strategic stuff that government and private sector has to work together to really, world has to depend on us for a few things. The moment we get that strong credibility, I think we will have more bargaining chips when we go to the world.
But tell me, in today's very fragmented world, as one can see, and that's a hot topic of discussion here at Davos as well, is it really easy to become an export hub when we're looking at make in India and make for India, when the world is actually turning inclusive?
Yeah, so I think India is uniquely different than some of the other places. So I think while everybody is looking for their security, today world has become that place that we are almost deglobalizing.
Yeah.
In this situation, at the same time, India has friends with so many countries, and so many countries wants to be friends with India. So there will be new partnerships that will come out. Wherever we have those good relationships, there is a huge opportunity for collaboration. And I think there is unique advantage that India brings in, both from a market access as well as the low-cost manufacturing that we want to build up. And I think there is a win-win potential between some of these countries and ourselves. And they are open. When I am going across the world today, whether it's in Europe, whether it's in Australia, whether it's even in Middle East, Southeast Asia, there is positive for India. I don't think there are restrictions or not welcoming enough.
Any deals you're signing here at Davos with any of these countries?
I think the one thing, of course, we just announced our president for the European markets, and we are just expanding our presence in the Europe, and we are seeing very good collaboration with many European countries happening. So I think new bonds are getting fostered, and I think India does have a unique position in that. So while we need to change the narrative from make in India for India, but make in India for the world. And I think the moment we look at that, then the focus has to change on research and development. Our institutes, industries working together. We have to be innovators. Only when we will be innovators, we will have that long game. Otherwise, your cost advantage, tomorrow some other country will snatch it away from you.
But since you are talking about so much expansion and even exporting for the world while making in India, that's going to come at a cost. What kind of investment are you geared up for at Suzlon?
So effectively, if you see, I think our hardcore major investments and growth is from capacity production is all in India. Yeah, and I think that's something that we believe we can leverage to go to the world. So I think your investments globally are largely from a service and delivery point of view. So they are not to that level that you need to kind of go for any large kind of fund requirements. So I think we are kind of balancing that out and making sure that where our products, technology and value delivery to my customers globally fit well. And historically, Suzlon has been in 17 countries. We have expanded across the world. So I think there is a good credibility, almost 6 gigawatts of projects we have installed across 17 countries. So there is a goodwill existing for the past 20 years of those customers, and they would like to see Suzlon kind of play a more stronger role in those areas.
Any capex earmarked for the future phase of expansion?
So I think currently whatever we have a rolling capex which we kind of do year on year as part of our business plan, but that's largely within the reserves that we create during the year. So nothing outside additional that is planned, but we have an annual capex that we plan out.
So the question on everyone's mind is, given that renewable energy is such a fast expanding pool, and there's not just wind, there's so much emphasis on solar as well, green hydrogen, etc. Will Suzlon be increasing or opening its umbrella beyond wind business? Yeah,
so there I think we have been working at this particular element for a while now, and we've just in the process of defining Suzlon 2.0 right now. And the elements of those are primarily moving from a pure single source play to a full RE solutions enterprise. So we will see in the coming years Suzlon will become a full energy solutions company. And today when I benchmark not just in India but globally, I think we'll be uniquely placed from that, because today there are no global players of that nature who are able to do an integrated solution of wind, solar, storage, and be able to provide a holistic solution. So we are working on that, and I think we are seeing good traction from customers, that they see that on one side, since we already do project development for wind, and that is much more complex than the solar and storage, so adding on that to our portfolio is a natural addition that we are doing. So with that, effectively we will, right now if you see the total market, between wind, solar and storage, effectively with wind you play with 20-25% of the market. The moment we expand, then I play the 100% of the market. So effectively this will give us a much larger canvas to participate, and more importantly for my customers, they then have a single one kind of point where they can go for a full solution, one-stop shop for the full solution for their RE needs. And we are seeing this today. If you look at my customer base, we have the India Inc., all the large industrial companies of the country. I mean, all of them have their own decarbonization targets, and part of that is a transition to green energy, and all of them are looking at a proper hybrid solution for making this happen. Likewise the utilities also, all the Indian utilities, whether it's government or private, are looking to decarbonize and have a rightful energy mix on that. And today the beautiful part is that we've reached a point where wind, solar, storage, you are able to get 24/7 electricity, green electricity at a price point which is cheaper than any other source you can get in India. And moreover, almost 70-75% of the fuel we use in India for conventional energy is all imported. So, all the geopolitics and, also your forex issues and everything kind of piles up on that. So I think we are seeing a very quick adoption of, wind, solar, storage in everything. And also right now, with the uptake on the EVs in India, and now we are seeing the data centers for AI, and then we are seeing the third wave that will come from green hydrogen. All of these, for them to do it in a sustainable way, solution is going to be, they have to be powered with wind, solar, storage. And today there is a solution for each one of them. So I think we are kind of gearing up for being that solution provider for all these new age industries which are coming. And almost all of them, if the intent is right, they can go green from day one, because the solution and commercial viability exists today also.
So when you say one-stop shop is what Suzlon aims at becoming, when you say storage, do you mean that you will now get into battery? I'm just trying to understand the
So basically what happens is that, the complex piece in the renewable energy is the wind part, because that's very heavy engineering and it's a very complex piece of engineering. Right. Solar and storage are not that challenging, and it's more of assembly and limited kind of value add from a technology that you do. So the approach that we are doing is that from a customer point of view, I'll be an integrated service provider. Others, I will have a partnership approach wherever it makes sense in whatever design. But from a customer point of view, I be the single point who will be responsible to deliver value to them. So we will be an integrator, and wherever it makes sense to work with different partners, because there is already some excess capacity that exists today. There's no point in just building capacity when you can get it at a much cost efficient for my customers. So we will work with a partnership approach and build that relationships and make sure that we are able to provide an integrated. And whatever is the complex engineering piece of all those, like currently we are also working on a energy management solution at a front end, where customers will be able to have a Suzlon controller for energy management of their all renewable energy sources and storage, so that effectively, instantaneously at any point in time, they can use the least cost option, automatic switching. So we are working on the more complex side
like a more hybrid model.
Yeah, so that's how we are working more on the engineering side of things.
That's quite interesting. So I have to ask you then, what's the expectation from the union budget? Any concessions from the government?
So I think more than concessions, I think what we are looking at is few things. So first one, I think, last budget we announced, the national mission for manufacturing. We also announced the national mission for exports. I am hoping that now we take the next steps in that regards. A lot of groundwork has been done with the ministries, and I'm hoping that now we take the next steps to really get them into a much faster action. Because there is an aspiration, we need to now get it into action and get it done. I think huge potential is there on both this national mission. I'm hoping that we have meaningful progress on that. We've also made a recommendation that government could consider putting in place a kind of a national power council, just like we had the national GST council, because I think power is going to be the crux one of the important elements to drive our GDP. And it has to run ahead of the curve to make sure we hit our GDP targets. So from that point of view, there is so much of interministerial coordination and state and central coordination that if we have to drive that machinery of green transition in a very time-bound fashion, then that whole coordination approach, and there are so many, just like in GST, you have state interest, you have central interest, there is so much of balancing to be done. And therefore, we've recommended this to the government, and we are hopefully something.
And so consumer sensitive.
Yeah, and ultimately we need to make sure that we deliver affordable energy. You know, we reduce the cost of energy to the end consumer. So only when everything kind of works together, we will be able to do that. So that's the other one. And the last one we've recommended is there is a need to harmonize the renewable energy policy. You know, there are benefits and preferences that are there for certain parts and not for certain parts. I think now with the matured systems that we have on wind, solar storage, I think we need a more harmonized policies so that we give equal opportunities for all sources to kind of coming together. These are the 4 recommendations.
So the ultimate goal, of course, is cheaper energy for
That's correct.
consumers
Yes.
with the option and choices in their hand.
Correct.
But where is the highest margin for a conglomerate like you?
So I think if we look basically effectively today, when we look at, so if you look from both sides, I think from a end consumer point of view, with the right combination of wind, solar, storage, you are able to deliver that right low pricing. And I think the more you add technology and science to that whole aspects of all the 3 sources, that's where the innovation part is. And the more we can focus on that, I'll be able to deliver more value to that. Ultimately, our focus is to democratize power, where an end consumer has a choice, not just of whom to buy from, but also which kind of source they would prefer to buy from, green source or other source. So that ultimately the choice goes to the consumer, and that will ultimately move, speed up the whole momentum in a way that we can make the green transition even faster.
And what about the momentum for Suzlon 2.0 in the next 2 years or 5 years? What kind of top line, bottom line are we expecting?
So I think there, if you see, we have had the unique position of building the wind industry at least from scratch in our country, and we are now at a stage where whatever has been done in last 30 years, almost in next 5 years, we are going to do equal amount. Yeah, 54 gigawatts done, 47 to be done still now. So it's a huge kind of effort to kind of compress that and build that. So large part of our effort actually is going to build the industry, not just Suzlon, where we all kind of make it happen from that point of view. That's one element. And other is to make this shift from a pure wind to a RE solutions, so that ultimately we are able to deliver value to the customers.
You're not giving me numbers, Mr. Tanti.
No, I think, see, what I can say is that Suzlon will remain the market leader, and we will continue to kind of, today we enjoy that position of, taking care of about 25 plus market share as a percentage point in wind. We would like to kind of maintain and strengthen that. And likewise also for the FDRE solutions or the hybrid solutions, which we are just entering, we would like to be amongst a meaningful player in that. So that's how we are taking it ahead.